All right, boys. I'm so sorry I have to do this, but I need to get my views up. I'm sorry. Wacky Fortnite. Wacky Fortnite.
Wacky Fortnite.
Yep, I'm autistic as shit. What's going on, guys? My name is A Rose. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. And today we're doing a Nintendo rant. Now hold your applause. Hold your applause. I know that this is super original. You know. I accept this award for the Innovator of the Year. All right, that's enough clapping, guys. I'm such a humble guy. No, but in all seriousness, though, I've got a lot to say. Before I get people in the comments that are going to be like, well, this shit's old news. Why the fuck are you making this now? I've been gone for 10 months, all right? And I have a lot to say about Nintendo as a company that I used to love. So let's go ahead and start this video off with my history with Nintendo is long. And there's no way I can make a video that, truly goes over my history with the company without it being an hour plus long. And I don't know if you're wanting that, but I don't want to make that right now. Maybe at some point, but as of right now, I'm going to try to condense this, and that's kind of an understatement here. Basically, I had a 3DS as a kid and a DSi as a kid, and I wasn't one of those kids that, played it, I had a system, I played it a little bit. I mean, I played some Mario, No, bro, this shit was my life. This shit was my life. I'm telling you, this shit was, this was, I would say the 3DS and DSi are my two most played handhelds of all time. Deadass, like straight up. I put at least 1,000 hours into Pokemon Y and Smash Bros. For 3DS a piece. I could not put down those systems, and I was a real big Nintendo fanboy. So much when I got mad at my friend at the time who had a 2DS, and we would play, DS games with each other. When he got a tablet for Christmas, and he said he wasn't really interested in playing those games anymore with me, I was pissed, bro. It's like, how could you, bro? Nintendo's given us so many memories. You're just gonna abandon the billion-dollar corporation. God, as a kid, you clearly don't see the full picture. But needless to say, I was the biggest Nintendo fan as a kid. And I remember when the Switch came out, and I was so excited to get my fucking hands on it. And I had it for a couple months and didn't really play it. And there's several reasons for that. Like, I was getting into PC gaming at the time, and that, oh my God, for me, that really did take over my life. But also, the games were expensive. For me, I grew up buying games for $30 for the DS titles, and for the 3DS titles as well. So to see games, on the Switch, $50, $60, and they never went on sale is crazy. And while yes, they had ports of games, I was getting into PC gaming. So I remember when I got my first Steam gift card from my grandma and I went on my first Steam sale. Oh my God, bro. that was crazy. But yeah, I used to be a huge Nintendo fan. So I wanted to kind of get that part out of the way at the beginning of this video to basically explain why I'm so passionate about how I feel about Nintendo now. The Switch 2 is a mixed bag for me. I was kind of excited for the system, but also I knew that Nintendo in some way was going to fuck up the hype train for me. And that is exactly what they did. Listen, I'm going to start this off by saying something that might be a little controversial. I think $450 for the Switch 2 is fine. I would have preferred it to be $400 like everyone else, but $450 is fine, especially with the prices of other handhelds at the time. I already had a Steam Deck twice by that point, and I was already looking to get an ROG Ally at that point anyway. I paid $400 for both Steam Decks, not combined, $400 a piece. And then I bought a used Ally for $400. The Steam Deck OLED starts at $550, and if you want something like the Ally X, it starts at $700. And now, the Xbox Ally X being $1,000, bro. Oh my God, yeah, I think that $450 is fine. But the thing that killed the hype train, and I remember too, when the Direct came out, and I was ready to pre-order one of these fucking things. But what killed the hype for me was $80! $80 for Mario Kart World! $80 fucking dollars! I don't... Look, I understand that some people have that money. They're fine with spending that money. But if you remember at the beginning of this video, I said I didn't like the original Switch because the games were $60. And the jump to $70, when that happened with Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, oh my God, why? What purpose is there? There's no reason for that. And I was already mad about the $70 shit. But $80! $80! And the thing is, you know, oh, well, you know, it's just Nintendo charging that prices. What does it matter if you're not going to get the game anyway? You know, people can still enjoy it. Or, hey, you can get the bundle for the Switch too, and the game's only $50, so why are you bitching? Let me address both of those points. I'll address the second one because it's not as important as the first. First off, the fact that it comes with a bundle with the console does not mean shit, okay? For instance, you know, if you are, say you go to like Walmart, for example, right? Or you go to Best Buy, and those are all sold out. Now you are stuck with getting the $450 Switch, and you still have to pay $80 for the game, all right? And on top of that, if you want the game physical, you have to pay $80. And the reason that's such a big deal to me is because it sets a standard. Nintendo opened the floodgates for video game developers to say, yeah, we think that $80 is perfectly fine. You know, we'll charge you $80 for our new release. It's crazy. And the thing is, you know, Rockstar is at least going to charge $80 for fucking GTA 6. They'll probably charge $100. Let's be for fucking real. And that is too much money, even for a good game, you know, a game company like Rockstar. And, you know, GTA 6 isn't out yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be good. Even if it is a masterpiece, even if it's fantastic, it could be the best Rockstar game to exist, and I still won't buy it for $100. You got me fucked up, all right? You know it's bad when video game prices are at the point of where, you know, 10 years ago, that was the price of a special edition. $80 was the price of you could usually get like a figure or a statue or, you know, extra DLC or maps for $80. It's crazy to me that Nintendo thinks this shit is okay. And it's not affordable at all. But as much as that pisses me off, the other thing that they announced that same day that absolutely killed any hype for the Switch 2 for me was also game key cards are ridiculous. And people may not agree with me on this, but I think the Switch 2 should have been digital. This is another hot take too. I think it should have been all digital. And before I get people, well, I love collecting physical video games. Why kill it for the rest of us? I don't see a point in the games being physical anymore when the cartridges that they are using aren't big enough to hold the games. And developers are lazy and they're going to be like, well, we'll just give you a game key card. You got to download the game anyway. And the thing is that it's crazy that you get the physical game and you can't pop it into the system and immediately be in play. What happened to when you would grab a disc off the shelf and pop it into your Xbox and boom, there's the game. I understand games have updates now and shit like that, but for me, there was no reason to do physical games if we're limited by how much can be put on a fucking cartridge nowadays. And it's more expensive to put the games on the cartridge. That's why Nintendo made the game key card so they can just direct you to a download site. I think it's ridiculous. If you pay for a fucking game that's a physical game, it should be physically on the fucking card. 100%. I don't understand why. Either Nintendo should have just been like, well, we'll release some games, you know, the games that can fit on the cards physically, other games will release just digitally. The game key cards make no fucking sense, especially if you're someone that doesn't have good internet. If you're someone, and there are people that do, people that live out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere that can't get good internet. I live out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, and it's hard to get good internet out here. It is. So the fact that there are people that, again, they get physical games a lot of the time because you cannot, you know, get good internet download speeds. I remember when we used to have our old internet provider, it would take hours and sometimes even over a day to download a video game for me, which is crazy. But, you know, with these game key cards, it makes no fucking sense. But I think the biggest thing that Nintendo has done in recent memory that has just made me look at the company a completely different way is how it treats its fans. I truly think Nintendo hates their fans. I do. They don't care about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care that you buy Mario Kart World and you buy your Mario Kart plushie and your Switch 2 case, your Mario Kart Switch 2 case, and your Donkey Kong Bonanza pre-order. You got that in, and you definitely got the Pokemon ZA game with the $20 DLC that was announced before the game fucking launched. The thing is that they don't care. They do not like their fans. The amount of fan games, fan projects that have been taken down, the amount of times they have sued people because, you know, there are fans who either wanted to make a project or, you know, they threatened legal action several times. Power World, for example, they threatened legal action against Power World and made patents to where you can't make, monsters fight in battle. That's fucking insane to me. That, again, people think that this mega billion-dollar company cares about them and, oh man, I have such a good relationship with Nintendo. No, you don't. I hate to break it to you. Even if you're a Nintendo YouTuber and you do that for a living, or you maybe even work at the company, it might be slightly different if you work at the company, but they don't give a shit about you. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about how much money you've put into your Nintendo account. All they care about is the money that's in your Nintendo account. All they care about is money at this point. Otherwise, they'd be selling their games at $60. And they can do it. It is possible. Absolutely, it's possible for them, but they choose not to. And the anti-consumer practices, and the fact that the biggest thing is that if you use your physical hardware that you bought, by the way, if you use it the way that Nintendo doesn't approve of, they don't care. They'll brick your system. And before, someone says, oh, well, it's to prevent piracy, and piracy, we shouldn't steal from the multi-billion-dollar company, and blah, 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 blah. Look, I understand that piracy is a very, iffy topic for a lot of people. Personally, pirate shit. I don't care. It's not my life. I choose, I don't pirate myself. I haven't pirated in years just because I find it easier just to buy my games or buy whatever I really want to get. But if you pirate, cool. Especially if you pirate from a company like Nintendo. I'm not advocating piracy. I would never advocate piracy. But if you do it, I'm not going to say you're a shitty person. All right. And even then, there are people that don't want to pirate. Maybe they just want to back up their games on an SD card. Maybe they want to mod their Switch, and maybe they want to, have a better user experience. You can't get themes on your Switch without modding it. There's no internet browser, which is fucking crazy. There's shit that you can do on a modded Switch. And Nintendo just doesn't want people at all to, do what they want with their hardware. It's why I love Valve so much with the Steam Deck. They made a video. They made a fucking video that showed you how to open up the system. And even they said in the video, well, we don't condone opening up the system, but it is your system and you have the right to do with whatever you want with your system. You have the right. It is your right to repair. It is your right to do, because you bought it. It's your physical system. And again, the Steam Deck, I can download all the fucking emulators I want on that fucking thing. I can pirate as many fucking video games as I want on that thing. Obviously, as I said, I don't pirate fucking video games because I just find it easier, especially using Steam with the Steam sales. It's a much better experience, so I don't have to pirate. And a lot of games I play are indie games. I like supporting indie developers, for sure. But if there's a game I can't play, like Transformers Fall and War of Cybertron, 2 video games I love to death, but you can't play them anymore. You have to download them, and it sucks. But they're not on the stores anymore. They got delisted. So if you want to play those games, either you have to look for an Xbox 360 or PS3 or a physical PC copy of the game. Then load, if you got the PC copy, now you got to get an extra thing to load the disc onto it. And the copies are expensive. They're like $100 a piece. So, it's so much easier to, mod and do shit like that. And the fact that Nintendo can break and brick your system because they said so. And if you look through the license agreement, you technically own a license. You don't own the Switch 2. If I don't own the system, then pirating isn't stealing. If I don't own anything, if buying something isn't owning it, then pirating it isn't stealing it. Plain and simple. And it's ridiculous that we've let Nintendo get away with this shit. Nintendo, it hurts to see their fall because I love this company so much. I do. But I can't justify going out and spending $450 on a Switch 2, then going out and spending another $80 to play Mario Kart, then another $20 to play online. But if I want the old games, if I want to play like, Majora's Mask, for example, I got to pony up the dough for $60 a month online. Every time, owning a Switch 1 and a 2, it just nickel and diming everywhere you go. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Joy-Con drift with the new system. The last one, dude, it was Joy-Cons every couple of months, and it's crazy. Nintendo has stopped caring about their fans, and it's heartbreaking to see. And, at the end of the day, I made this video because I miss how this company used to be, and I know it will never be the same. And I know a lot of people, including myself, are very upset about how Nintendo has been doing. But that's going to wrap up this video. Let me know if you guys really liked this content style, this type of video. I will be making an Xbox video as well. All right, for the Nintendo fanboys that stuck around to the end of this video, I am making an Xbox video as well because I got a lot of shit to say about them as well. But I'm gonna give that video a little while. But I want to make videos about Valve, how Valve has been the best gaming company for me, at least ever, and it's crazy. I want to make a video at some point about how modern gaming sucks and how, games are unoptimized as shit and everything's frame gen now and everything's microtransactions and bullshit, but I wanted to start off this video as my big return video because I'm very passionate about Nintendo and I love the company and what it used to be. But thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, let me know if you guys like this style of video. As always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.